Peace. Man, man. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Right now. Gangster. The word. The terminology that we use are. The terminology gangster and the energy that we associate with it. That energy is evolving, and Tupac was the blueprint. And what I mean by that, as above, so below. The hood, you know what I'm saying, in essence, gets its, you could say, its politics indirectly from the politics of the government. You know what I'm saying? We already know how insane the government is. Well, the hood, because matter of fact, people in the hood learned a lot of the things that they learned from their slave masters, and in essence, from their parents or in their environment, but their environment and what their parents taught them, that's all trickling down from, being in slavery and having a certain mind frame that's not necessarily clear, and in essence, again, the vibe of like being just like the government in essence, just as insane. The politics in the hood could be just as insane as the politics on TV. And again, because it's one and the same. But just speaking how being a gangster is evolving, and we getting into a more true vibe of what we calling, gangster now. Matter of fact, with saying gangster, and the G stands for God. You know what I'm saying? That's the energy we're moving into. But basically, so say for instance, if you're not expressing yourself, for who you truly are, because you're scared of what others may think, so you're scared of what your home. But matter of fact, if you're scared of anything, when we think of the vibration of, being, gangster, being tough, being, you know what I'm saying? We think of it as a vibe of not being scared of anything, but we think of it more so just along the lines of, with hood stuff. So it's like, oh, I'm not scared to go to jail. I'm not scared of this. I'm not scared of that. But really, being gangster is being fearless on all levels. You know what I'm saying? Like being fearless to be a ballerina. Like say even Tupac, being a ballerina, knowing that your homeboys and people could clown y'all, whatever, but you gangster enough to say, bruh, like I'm a musical person, or I'm this type of person. I want to express myself to the fullest, so I'm gonna do it. Because the people who we label or look at as gangsters are not true gangsters, because they're living their lifestyle based off of, well, I don't want so and so to think this about me. I don't want the homies to think this about me. I don't want, they're operating out of being governed by somebody else. You know what I'm saying? They're not governing themselves through their true God self and through their heart. You know what I'm saying? They're more along the lines governing themselves through the ideas of what's outside of them. You know what I'm saying? So basically, somebody else's egoic mind is running your life whenever you're choosing to, do things according to what somebody gonna think is cool, or what somebody gonna think is gangster. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not expressing yourself for who you truly are, so look at yourself right now. If you calling yourself a gangster right now, I'm this, I'm that. And you can't keep it real with yourself enough to do something that you really love, regardless of what other people think. And, you might want to reevaluate how gangster you really are. You know what I'm saying? And again, what it really is, being a gangster. And again, with all these words, it's all word magic anyway. But I'm just speaking to that aspect of what, of course, because speaking from the aspect that I could only relate, and I say only, but one of the places I can relate to is dealing with the environment I grew up in. I grew up in the quote unquote hood, you know what I'm saying? So, and then the messages I deliver and connection is going to be, from that standpoint, that essence. And because those places is the places that need the namaste and the hugs and kisses and the meditation. It's not the places that's already, oh, we already namaste. Well, no, then we need to trickle this out to the people, you know what I'm saying? As above, so below. I'm not just in one part of my body keeping it healthy. I want to have my whole body healthy. You know what I'm saying? So same thing. But that whole thing where, and then you start to see we're getting more to a level of a practical, realistic aspect of looking at things. Like, you know, say for instance, as a parent, like parents who still preach in religion, I think that this is actual Jesus coming back. It's like now you're being held accountable to where you could no longer be seen as somebody mature or somebody that makes sense when you're following a template where you're not doing research. Here it is, like you might be a school teacher as a grown up telling kids do their research, don't copy this, don't do that, do your research. But then as a person, in your religious manner, you don't do your own research. So how could you even be considered somebody to listen to when you not practicing what you preach? You telling a little kid do this research, go do this, but then you're not doing that same research. You know what I'm saying? Again, being held accountable, you know. Like I think about the Michael Sam situation, Of course, in the template of what they call gangster in the hood, and when I talk about Michael Sam, I'm talking about the gay football player, the football player that came out and said, that he was, homosexual in his sexual orientation. A lot of people, oh man, that food fruity or this and that, man. I remember when he came out, I was at work and I was at a job that, matter of fact, forklifting and macho man, I'm this, I'm that, As matter of fact, same men that watch a sport where men put their hands in between another man's nuts over I don't know how many snaps, grabbing on each other, wrestling with each other. Y'all watch that all day, and that's an aspect too, like not realizing, like again, you were taught from your slave master. A lot of the principles and ideas that you hold true to, it comes from your slave master, not from your true indigenous nature. You know what I'm saying? So that's another situation as well. But again, with the Michael Sam, like speaking out, well, Michael Sam is just as gangster as anybody I know who, like people in the hood who respect somebody that shot 100 people and this and that, and he got the, like Michael Sam is just as gangster as any one of those gangsters in the hood. Because while those gangsters in the hood, they may be doing what, again, that insane template of what the hood created called being gangster. You know what I'm saying? And being gangster, in essence, like a kamikaze, fuck up your life type of thing, too. It's like, like, oh, yeah, you ain't gangster if you don't go to jail. You ain't gangster if you don't fuck up your life, in essence. Like, come on, y'all. Now we think the light is being shined on the shadows, and where there's awareness and knowledge, there's a light. And where there's a light, there's no longer a shadow for people to hide in. So by bringing this to awareness, just making the space smaller for these type of things to hide in, you know what I'm saying? But again, the baddest person that killed 100 this, did this, did that, but then, not man enough to keep it real with themselves in some way, form, or fashion, But they this gangster, this and that, but probably don't want to take care of their kids, And that's just the reality of the situation. I'm not saying this, I'm not getting into the egoic mind of like talking down on these people. This is just speaking the truth, shining the mirror of reality, in everybody's face, so we could just look back and see ourselves. It's not trying to clown anybody. I'm not trying to clown or degrade any. I never do this, but just to make it, reassure this in this video, like I'm not trying to knock or clown anybody, because that don't help either. Me trying to clown y'all, this and that, like that's only more ego and creating, more of a harmful situation. So just speaking on the reality of the situation. So when you call yourself gangster, I'm like, well, shit, what's really gangster is to keep it real about something that other people would deem as something that's not cool, you know what I'm saying? So like what's real gangster is Michael Sam standing up in front of everybody knowing that they was gonna, hate them or talk down on them and this and that, and just still kept it real and was like, hey, this is how I am, and this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You either fuck with me or you don't. And that's another thing. That's gangster. Like, this is how I am. You either fuck with me or you don't. You know, and that's funny, like, cause I know how to paraphrase little things where, you know, like where it comes off as the person say it in a certain way, but I could paraphrase it in like, cause people actions have a certain, you know, cause that's what Michael Sam actions said. Like, you know, even though y'all clown punks or whatever, as a punk, I'm keeping it real about my thing, you know, cause, you know, and I'm just using punk for lack of a better word at the way society associate with that word, you know what I'm saying? But here it is, a gangster being more of a punk, the lack of a better word for, again, for the context of a gangster in the context of what they would see as a punking out, or, you know, here it is, a gangster being more of a quote unquote punk than somebody that they would call a punk. You know what I'm saying? Because here it is where this guy's keeping it real about his life and not giving a fuck what your opinion is. But here it is, you calling yourself gangster, but you scared to be yourself and scared to keep it real about certain aspects of your life because you're scared of what somebody else thinking, you know what I'm saying? Which is not really, you know, gangster and being stand up, you know what I'm saying? Like that whole vibe. Being scared to do something because of what you know, my homeboys might think this or that, you know. It's like, nah. And again, we're moving into a place where we're holding ourselves accountable. You know what I'm saying? Here it is, we fighting spiritual warfare. So, you know, somebody that's being real in spiritual warfare is not gonna, you know, promote shooting. And again, it's in the context of this, because y'all know how I am. You know, the battle is within. You're not battling against nothing outside of you, but just in the essence, in the context of what I'm speaking. You know, what I was gonna say. I get to it. Speaking of gangster, it'll come back. But just again the whole situation of like you know, revision, you know, because matter of fact, like when we look at Kanye making these comments and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, like that's being gangster. Matter of fact, and I already told you, like, hey, I make rap songs and talk about things like it's just like it's just you and me on the couch talking, you know what I'm saying? Like I forgot which verse he had like that, and here it is when we hear him say things like, oh, it's crazy. But he already told you he was gonna be keeping it real and talk like, you know, like keeping it factual about things. Why are you surprised, you know? But again, you know, just moving into a place where we, you know, being true to ourselves, you know, and not listening to others, you know what I'm saying? Like what lines up with our true soul purpose and our true self. But again, the whole being gangster vibe. It's like, you know, being true to who you are and not being scared of what others think. That's being gangster, you know what I'm saying? These people who express themselves. Like, reason why people like certain movie stars and certain actors that, you know, even though your ego might be like, well, I dislike what they did right here, or say, for instance, I dislike the fact that Will Smith did that little gay scene in the movie, this and that, but you still admire him, admire Will Smith or a person like him, because you, for the essence of just seeing them living the life that they want, not giving a fuck what you think. And you could tell that they don't give a fuck what you think. And that's why you kind of like them in essence. It's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, because indirectly, you know, your soul know that that's the true blueprint. Why your ego sitting around like talking about the person and this and that, or they ain't this or they ain't that, or they gotta do it this way, they gotta do it that way. To be real, you gotta do it, while you sitting just talking and not doing what you should be doing, you know, to be real, you know. No matter of fact, I think about Prince wearing his little clothes, wearing the pants with the butt cheek out. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be brave for that. You know what I'm saying? And this is not to promote homosexual behavior either, because I brought up the two examples of Michael Sam, but and two, which it adds to another aspect of, like I used to bring up in a lot of my videos, where the statistic of how, like, where people who are homosexual, they end up spiritually awakening more faster than other humans, because they're being brought to a place of really questioning and dealing with life and having to keep it real about their existence. Like, if that's the way they feel, then they have to keep it real about it. So, and authenticity, that's one of the things of being spirit, dealing with source and your inner self, high self, is being authentic. you know not being what I think society wants out of me, not being what I think that my partners in the hood want me to be, not being what I think, you know, my mom or such and such is. Like, being true to yourself, you know. That's the whole thing. Matter of fact, the true gangster enough to say, I know I am God on a human experience, and I will express myself. That's gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like, expressing yourself to the fullest, Because again, we look at it as a template of, like, where gangster, is about being brave in a cops and robbers type of manner, where, like, if you're not, you gotta be brave to shoot somebody, and then that's gangster. But no, matter of fact, and that's what I was speaking to, like the spiritual warfare. And you know what I'm saying, you call yourself gangster, but what's gangster is to realize, all right, man, you shooting against the soldiers on your own side, so to speak. And matter of fact, that's why I got talking about the inside. But yeah, you shooting against the people that's on your own side. So how gangster is that? Matter of fact, and you see how analogies allow for people to analyze themselves, because the ego is so identified with itself in some people that if you bring the situation up to them and it seems too close to the identity of their ego, they're going to be in denial. But if you show them a situation that parallels that situation, but without using their name or not tightly being directed to them, they could be like, oh, and they could learn the lesson. So say, for instance, we was watching a movie and it was a war going on, say for America against everybody, because that's America against, you know what I'm saying, but just America against some other people. And you watch the movie, and all of a sudden you'll see, the whatever side. So let's see, you see the American soldiers start to flip out, and then they start pulling guns out on each other and shooting each other, and basically, the Americans fighting against each other, while on this side, the other guy's like, wait, hold on, back up. Like, we don't have to fight them. You know what I'm saying? They killing themselves. They killing them own selves also. Let's save our men and our power and all that, and fall back and let them, kill off themselves. And then if they still a threat after they finish killing off themselves, then we'll just deal with whatever's left. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same approach in the hood. We fighting spiritual warfare. So why y'all, gangsters shooting against each other? I'm gangster. I pull my rod on the nigga. Shoot, killing person, killer. And matter of fact, and speaking of gangster, where, your problem is with the people who you're not shooting. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to get deep and tell you to aim your gun at anybody, because for one, I don't deal with guns. You know what I'm saying? But again, speaking in the context of what I'm speaking to, like the people who, making your life miserable in essence, because of course it's you making your life miserable. But again, in the context of where you see it, like, where certain people that causing people to go to jail and things of this nature, but you shoot the person that's not causing you to go to jail. I'm just saying, like, that's the best way I could say it without saying, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, how gangster is that? Like, well, the person who, boom, did you something, hit a gavel, bam, like, you won't do them anything, but you'll do the person in the hood that has nothing to do with, what harm you've been done in your life and all this, like, the law set up for you to fail. You know, the homeboys in the hood didn't do that to you. So why are you, you know, that's another thing too. You so gangster, but running around shooting your. Matter of fact, I'm from a small city, so shooting somebody in it is probably you probably shooting at your relatives, man. Like realistically, and you know what I'm saying. But you're so gangster, you're shooting at your relatives, man. If you want to shoot at a problem or shoot, you know what I'm saying, like shoot at something that's really against you. You know what I'm saying? And that's not me telling nobody to go and be violent, but with somebody already being violent, I'm just giving them the awareness, like, all right, maybe you should focus more on, you know, being violent towards a problem. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be violent, you know. But again, just showing how gangster is not gangster. You know, like what they call gangster in the hood is not really being 100%. Matter of fact, gangster in a godlike type of manner, because that's what gangster is like. The gangster, the G, being a G. I would say being a G, being a G, but the G stand for God now, and not for gangster anymore. And gangsterism is, you know, is turned into a whole, you know, again, you know, spiritual warfare going on. If you so gangster and so this and so that, then yeah, you should be head first in leading us to our salvation. And that's, and I say leading us to our salvation, in helping the situation. As a matter of fact, because I don't want to use leading to no salvation, because nobody's your guru. You out here for yourself. It's about you doing your own work, and nobody's here to save you. If we all worked on saving ourselves, and you know, we'll see the change in the world. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, spiritual warfare going on, like that example I made, you know, whereas one side against the other. But you know, if one side just shooting against itself and killing itself, then it's like, you know, then the other side could fall back and be like, well, shit, just let them kill off themselves. They doing our job for us, you know. Same thing with negative people. People who like, oh, well, people ain't gonna never learn, or oh no, even though the pineal gland is real, man, I don't think people never open their pineal gland, or fools will never get it, or fools gonna always eat meat the rest of their life. That person there is, you know, you might as well go on the other side, you know what I'm saying? Because you basically creating the same negativity or whatever that the oppressor trying to create, you know. So it's like, well, damn, you might as well go work for the government in that case, or matter of fact, or more so for the news, because they like to create these false templates of negativity or whatever, so they could program your subconscious, and you know, you take care of yourself. Because once they make you think mentally, once they get you mentally thinking negative all the time, then you just keep yourself in that perpetual living state. But again, you know what I'm saying, it's time to realize what really being gangster, it's all about being a G, being God. Matter of fact, the G, where is it? I got my tablet with being gangster. Trying to find my little, you know, being a G. You know, outside of Freemasonry, you know what I'm saying? Gotta be a G. Much love to my brethren, and well, the sisters would be a Morning Star if they was like a Freemason. But you know, much love to the brethren and sisters. But at the same time, I'm keeping it real. Like, what really helps people is knowledge. And if we got knowledge and we not sharing it, then what position? Like, you know, how sometimes, because I heard of, you know, Freemasonry saying it's something, you know, we help our brethren and sisters, we are something for the community. You know, having knowledge, spiritual knowledge that would help people grow would help the community. But, you know, but this little vial of silence and kind of indirectly acting like, you know, like the oppressors, you know, Albert Pike and, you know, all these other higher Masons, you know what I'm saying, in essence, where it's like doing it from a European standpoint, where you still hiding facts and spiritual information from your people, you know what I'm saying? And again, so I'm saying this, speaking from a human aspect, you do not have to do anything but stay in your skin and transit. in the simplicity of it, you know what I'm saying? But just speaking, I'm speaking more along the lines of where I'm at with my vibration and my soul purpose and what I feel inclined to deal with and speak on in my physical existence. And the reason why I'm speaking on it in this manner, because I know that I may have reflections that may feel that their soul purpose is in a similar place. So, you know, it's not our job to, I'm not worried about none of this, that I'm like, it is what it is. I'm just doing what I got to do. I'm making this video, but I'm not all in my heart like, oh, the Freemasons got to tell the truth. They do whatever they want, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Again, I'm here on my platform to do, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, are you really for the community because either it's one or the other going on. Either you don't have the knowledge, really, or you have it and you're not sharing it. But again, it's like, all right, if you call yourself being a beacon on to the neighborhood, like we're some type of force of helping the neighborhood and this and that. Well, shit, I know a bunch of people that need to learn about the law of attraction and chakras and what the Bible really stands for. Like, start working. No, Mr. We about the people, and to be a Mason, you gotta be about God and stuff like that. It's like, well, be about God. And again, though, I get that whole gist, though. Real talk, though, that whole situation is just about them, like, and to each his own. But my thing is a contradiction of the nature of what they stand for. That's why I kind of just bring it out. It's like, all right, I'm here to help the neighborhood, but I'm also going to keep real important spiritual knowledge secret as I help my neighborhood. It's like, all right, nigga. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? But in all reality, they doing what they should do. Get the knowledge and deal with it. Like, it's nobody's job and obligation to necessarily share information, in essence. I mean, of course, it's, through evolution and wanting us to, indirectly, just in our being, through unconditional love, you're just gonna have that inspiration to share information. But again, we all unique in our soul purpose, and everybody's job's not the same, in essence. So it is that aspect as well. So I do understand, like, how I'm talking about gangsters and how they, how we need to realize what's really gangster. You know what I'm saying? I also realize that the people who are being like the destructive gangsters and, basically killing their own people in situations like that, that's a contrast that's meant to be there, in order to help people to grow. The pressure to make a diamond, you know what I'm saying? So to each his own on all those situations, it is what it is. But just wanted to share that about how gangster is evolving to what it truly always been, and it's being God. That's gangster. That's the real G. Being gangster, as a matter of fact, and Tupac was that blueprint, so when we talk about thug life and this and that, and you hear a bunch of interviews of people like, well, Tupac wasn't no gangster, this and that, he wasn't no thug. They talking about from a human aspect, from the hood template of, you gotta shoot up some people and you gotta kill your brother and sister with drugs or with guns to be a gangster. It's like, it was a different blueprint. He was being gangster on a spirit, on a soul level, like outside of being a human being. He was being a gangster soul, like he was being God. He was being a G on that level. You know what I'm saying? Like expressing itself without caring what anybody think, not what the humans think, what spirits think. Like, he was gangster on a whole nother level, because in essence, that's why he would kind of, had to transition, because, there's a certain level of our, the things that being in the divine order. And when people push it a little bit too faster than what, in the manner that it was going to unfold, sometimes Source gotta pull that energy away. Because matter of fact, if Tupac would have, say for instance, raised everything himself, then it just wasn't a time. Because then other people learning right now wouldn't be doing their work, because he would have probably been that savior. So nobody would be doing the inner work right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason why, some of these energies get pulled. But again, he was being gangster on a godly level, not on a human hood, I shot so and so around the block, so I'm gangster. Not that's that's a flawed premise. Again, like the insanity of politics, from the European trickle down to insane politics in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Where shit don't even really make sense. Insane politics in the Bible. It's all you see the insanity in all those areas. But I digress. Peace. Happy now. Now is a vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Peace.